Listen, I am learning this whole go live thing here. So tonight is not the night, y'all, for showing me on the camera. So y'all get the beautiful view of this beautiful Arizona streets where I live. And let's see if does it look better this way? I'm not going to be on here long. Really, I just wanted to. Let's see. I think it won't let me do that. Nope, it won't. All right, and we're back. All right, so I just wanted to talk a little bit. Um, by the way, my name is on the screen. None of that is that important tonight. What's important tonight is me coming on the live, no, me creating the live for the purpose of starting to get comfortable sharing information that I talk privately about. And I have experiences in my own life, but sometimes, as people call it, the woo woo or the airy fairy stuff is a little bit uncomfortable sometimes when you first step into talking about it publicly, just because of the whole idea of how people are going to see you, and plus people know me in a in a lot of people do. Some people do know me in a particular light, and that's more of as a performer in terms of a vocal performer. But those that really know me know that my foundation is spirituality and mysticism and all of those things. So here we go. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about the subject of sleep paralysis. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it because it occurred to me that it's something, that I've experienced it my whole life. And at different moments, yes. But since we are in such a different frequency right now, in terms of waking up and people becoming awakened to their gifts, purpose, calling, if you will, reason for being here on the planet. So it means the frequency has really, really changed. And we are sort of in a timeline where people are asking the question, why am I here? What am I here for specifically? And then they want to do what they're here for. And so, how does this relate to sleep paralysis? To me, now this is just this is my take and my personal insight. Everybody has their own insight on all kind of spiritual matters. People have different opinions, but I'm going to share tonight on what I think and then my personal experience, which I think is, the most potent or most important way of sharing and teaching per se. So, if you don't know what sleep paralysis is, some of you probably know as soon as I describe what it is. It is that moment in your sleep where you're waking up, or at least trying to wake up, and your body is completely paralyzed. It feels like, I mean, you can't open your mouth, you can't move your head, you can't move your body, you can't move your legs. And it darn it feels like you can't breathe. And it feels like you're going to die. And so it has been termed so many different things. In the medical world, they call it something connected to sleep apnea. I'm not coming from that scientific standpoint tonight. I'm coming more from the spiritual standpoint. And the way I grew up learning about it, that when I would have those experiences, it was automatically called something evil, something if demonic. That's what the label was. It's a demon. It's something has a hold of you. You're being held by some dark force, some dark energy. And I went through a very long period of my life feeling like that was true. And so anytime that would come, because I was raised in the church at that time, and I was like, "Yeah, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." I'd be getting that thing off, the blood, doing everything to get quote unquote that thing off of me. And so fast forward to several years later, where I became more expanded, um, moved away from the traditional church into more spirituality. I won't say I would say a broader scope of spirituality, because mysticism has always been a part of who I was. It doesn't matter. Oh, somebody's playing music in the background. Hey, hey, hey. All right, but don't mess up my video though. So mysticism has always been natural for me, you know, delving into higher dimensions, if for lack of better terms. But so as I begin to grow though in my spirituality, I wanted to know about more things and I start to study more things. And here's the honest thing. The more I learned and the more my spirituality expanded out of the traditional church and its way of being. And now, let me be very clear. I don't have a story of a horrible church background. You know, a lot of people who have moved into more expansive spirituality and mysticism and consciousness or whatever the terminology you use, they have a story that they got hurt in church and blah, 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 blah. That is not really my story. My story is actually I loved church. I had a great experience. I love the music. Now, was there ups, some things that I didn't agree with and I didn't think were the best? Of course, but that's any system. But generally speaking, it was an enjoyable thing for me. However, I was still in the system of church, which means in the collective consciousness of church is, generally speaking, a lot of fear. A lot of fear about the darkness, a lot of fear about this entity called Satan or the devil, and then, those that I guess, his homies that work for him, demons. So a lot of things were put on something external, the darkness, the devil, demons, and it can, if you're not aware, it can put you in a position where you're um, scapegoating or projecting things externally. So, as I'm saying, once I begin to um, have other experiences, right, where I saw um, God, the source, as being love, and I mean love for real, unconditional love, not the love where, we're like, God loves you, but, with the killing and destroying you and sending you to hell if you don't do this, this, or that, right? So that expansive love start to take away fear of a lot of things for me. And one of the things that I think it began to do was it began to broaden the way I saw my experiences or to allow something in. So this leads me to looking at this whole idea of sleep paralysis in a completely different way, right? I began to not see it as some demonic force coming to get me. I start to study it a little bit more. I've listened to people who were in consciousness who were having the same experiences, but on the other side of their experience, they were having some pretty powerful um, encounters. So here is my take on what I think sleep paralysis is. I believe that it is a door. I think it's two things. I think it's every night. I think an aspect of who we are goes and returns back to, or it has the ability to be out of our body in other dimensions. Some we call dreams, some we call visions. It just depends on how present your consciousness is, right? So if your soul is leaving your body at night, I think sometimes when it's returning back to your body, you may wake up in one aspect of yourself and you may not completely be inside of your body. Therefore, your body feels like it's immobile. It's almost like it's waiting for that aspect of you that has gone out into another realm to return back because it is the soul that makes the body awake, right? It awakens the body, it enlivens the body. So if your soul is not quite in its full connected form with your body, then you could feel a sense of paralysis because your body does have a consciousness too. In case you're asking, well, how would my body know that? Because it does have its own consciousness. Okay, and that's one aspect. But the greater aspect that I think people are experiencing now, and maybe not greater, but I think greater, higher, um, the one that's more potent right now is the aspect of, and I think this part is really important. Sleep paralysis is the preparation for your soul to go out of your body in a fully conscious state where you are aware of who you are, where you are. Because think about when you dream or when you have visions or when you're more in that astral body traveling, you don't remember stuff. You'll come back and be like, dang, what did I just? It was really good, but I don't remember it. But when you have the conscious outer body experience, which comes right before your um, paralysis feeling, when you have that feeling of paralysis, it's like that. That's the door that's sort of opening to say, you're getting ready to have a conscious outer body experience, traveling soul out of the body experience, whatever the terminology would be for it. And those experiences, they're memorable, they're they feel very tangible, and um, they can be really powerful. That's what I'm going to say. And so I'll just share specifically something I can recall. One of the experiences that I recall is that I was lying in the bed and I is my soul came out of my body, and I remember that I started to fly around, not in a dream state. My soul came out of my body, and I started I was going through walls. I was flying over the city. I have the ability to move about. Okay, and so that experience, I won't go a lot into it, but my point is, right before I had that experience, I had that sleep paralysis. That sleep paralysis that scared the bejeebies out of me, so much so that I could feel myself fighting the feeling, but it was almost as if it was inevitable. It was the time for this experience, this outer body experience to happen, this traveling, soul traveling to happen. And so, because it was just when something is locked in time and it's time for it to happen, it began to happen sort of, I don't want to say out of my control because there's a side of me that just sort of, okay, let me yield to this. So it is the yielding to it that makes it much easier because mine was felt like a fight before I really just kind of went out of my body. But the more the fear leaves, because the fear is rooted in the fear of death. But once you have enough experiences in your life or enough of these experiences, after a while, the fear of death is no longer there. And I think it probably won't be there because the kind of experiences you'll have as well. And yeah, so I guess in conclusion, I would say if you're having sleep paralysis, one of the things that could be good is that you just breathe and allow yourself to know that you're loved, you're protected by love, and this love is unconditional. And that experience may be a door, it may be a tap, at your window per se, to take you into a pretty powerful spiritual, mystical experience in other dimensions and multiverses. And maybe you're at the beginning of it, and the sleep paralysis is sort of the preparation. But the way to get past the paralysis into an experience is to release the fear. And the highest way to release fear is to know that you're loved and that you're protected and that all is well. And I'm talking to myself too, because, when I had that experience, I recall that I had quite a bit of resistance. So I don't know how much higher and how many more experiences I could have had had I not been as resistant. But I get the feeling I'll be coming back to you with more stories um, of less resistance. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. And yeah, I'll be back to share more as messages come up. All right. Peace and love and so